Hello, this is Megan Jax, and I am here with directions or a demonstration on how to put together the flip foldy card that Creative Memories had on their blog in May around Mother's Day. In the description below, you'll have a link to that blog post, but I'm going to walk you through cutting the piece of paper, getting everything folded and assembling, and putting on those peekaboo pockets so that you can get this to work just right. There was a couple of comments I saw in the Creative Memories Advisor group where people were just having some questions about it, weren't quite sure how to put it all together. So I thought I would go ahead and make a video. So here we've got the supplies we need. We do have a card base. You will want that. That's what you're going to actually on the inside of your card put your assembled kind of flip through contraption, I guess I could call it when we have it done. I have a piece of cardstock that I will be cutting up. I do have my scoring blade. If you don't have a scoring blade, you could probably use your multi-purpose tool with a ruler to make those the fold lines, but the scoring blade is going to make it really good. And then I do have some permanent adhesive, permanent or even the crafting, the extra strength, max strength crafting adhesive would also be really good for this project. You are also going to want to make sure you have 5 of the 3x3 peekaboo pockets. So I've got those here. So to get started, we are going to cut our cardstock. I am using Island Waters because it's bright. I can show you where the adhesive goes and it should be easy to see everything. We're going to start off by cutting a 3x12 strip. We need to have 5 3x3 squares. So I'm going to cut 2 lengths of 3x12 pieces here. And that's going to allow me to get the pieces that I need for this. Like I said, you're going to need 5 of those. So I'm going to rotate here and cut this down. I'll get 4 out of 1 length. Creative Memories does have a cut guide on their website, on their blog post. So there's 4 of them, and I'll cut 1 extra, and that's going to give me 5. If you want to have just photos in here, if you don't want to have those photos be matted, you can just skip this part with the 5. You would just need to have your photos that go inside your peekaboo pocket. So you need to have like 10 photos or 10 inserts. You only need 9. 4 are double-sided, 1 is single-sided. So we've got those 4 pieces there. I'm going to raise my camera up just a little bit, give myself a little more space so you guys can see what I'm doing here. This last piece over here is scrap, so I'm going to come back to my big body of paper here, and I'm going to cut this at 2 inches. The next piece we need is a 2x10 inch piece, so I'm going to cut it at 2 inches, and then I'll rotate, grab my cutting arm, my trimmer arm, put that out there and trim it. Here's my 2x10 piece, and then I do need a 1/2 inch long or wide piece that is cut to 6 inches. So I'm going to cut off 1/2 inch. This piece I'm holding here is scrap. You can set that aside. Rotate this 12-inch piece, cut it down to 6 inches. This extra piece here is extra. Just goes in your scrap. Now it's time to go ahead and get our scoring blade out. So here's my scoring blade. I'm going to insert that. Always when you score, double check the trimming mat here. We want to make sure we don't have any deep grooves. If you have deep grooves and you put a lot of pressure when you score, may risk cutting your paper, and you don't want that. So I'm going to start off with my the 2x10 piece, and we need to make the first score at 2.5 inches. So I'm going to line it up at 2.5 inches, and I'm going to score. I'm going to move it up 1/2 inch to 3 inches and make another score line. Then I'm going to go to 3.5 and score again, 4 and score, and then one last one at 4.5 inches. Now, while we have our scoring blade available to us, I want you to grab that 1/2 inch by 6 inch piece, and we are going to go ahead and we need to score this one. Let me see here real quick at, I lost the thing, at 2.5 inches. And then we're going to score again at 5 inches. I'm going to set this aside for now. Now I can also set my trimmer aside. Now it is time to start assembly here. So what we're gonna do is I want to go ahead and grab my peekaboo pockets. Now, if you can wanna go ahead and fill your peekaboo pockets. You can put your pieces inside. I'm gonna go ahead and insert my cardstock in there. I'm gonna give you a little tip. You don't have to seal it up. You can, but you don't have to. So if you're putting this together and you don't have your project quite finished, you can go ahead and kind of put it together even with it unsealed. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide these in there. The nice thing about this is it's gonna just give us the rigidity in those peekaboo pockets. So when they flip, they're gonna flip just nice and firm. So just sliding those in there. I haven't quite figured out what I'm gonna do with this project, but I thought it was cute and definitely worth knowing how to do these. Okay, so got my peekaboo pockets. They're loaded. I don't have them sealed because I don't have anything in there besides my cardstock. So just keep that in mind. If you don't have your photos and things in there, don't seal it. I am looking at this and right now I can see this is my 2.5-inch segment right here. The short end. My first line is here. I've got a larger flap that's unscored up here at the top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fold that at the very top score. I'm gonna fold it backwards. All right. Now, what I want you to do here is I want you to go ahead and we're actually going to just kind of slide it up and see how it creates that first. Okay, yep, do that. We're gonna slide the next one up until we start to see that fold. Yep, there it is. And then we're gonna do it again. There's that fold, and we're gonna do it one more time and we'll see that final score line pop up. There we go. Okay, we've kind of like primed the fold now. Now I want you to bring it all the way back down. It's much easier to do that when you don't have any peekaboo pockets attached. Now it is time to start attaching our peekaboo pockets. One of the things I want you to note, this section right here at the very bottom of your 2.5-inch line, our 2.5-inch piece segment, I guess you call it, we're gonna put our little, it's going to become a loop and we're going to put it there. So keep that in mind when you're applying adhesive. You can apply adhesive in this general section, but give yourself this space here to be able to attach that 1/2-inch strip. So you need to no adhesive on this 1/2-inch piece in here. All right, so we're gonna attach our first piece, our first peekaboo pocket. And the peekaboo pocket that we're putting here is the one that is single-sided. You're only gonna see this front half. The back half is gonna be you can't see it at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna apply some adhesive. And this is definitely a time where you can be a little more generous with your adhesive. Now when you're doing this, you kind of want everything to be sort of centered. So I'm gonna use my cutting mat and I'm gonna put this on there. It's 2 inches wide. I want to make sure when I apply this that the edge of my peekaboo pocket does not go beyond the fold. It's right up to that fold and I'm gonna center my peekaboo pocket. I don't want it to go past the fold. I can see that. You want it right up against the fold, but not past it. And apply there. So there I can see. All right, next, I'm gonna put another, keeping my peekaboo pocket facing up, I'm gonna put another row of adhesive right here. Right on that the 1/2-inch space between my two score lines. Now what I need to do is I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab my next peekaboo pocket. I'm going to fold my piece back. It's knotted here, but I've got it folded so I can really see the two ends very clearly, the sides, because I want to make sure it lines up with my previous peekaboo pocket. And I'm going to adhere this on there and I'm watching my edges here to make sure that they're nice and tight. They're in line with each other. And then you just kind of repeat this going up the line. And you just keep attaching those peekaboo pockets. So 2 more to attach and then we'll have all 5 on here. There we go. 1 more. Last peekaboo pocket's gonna go on here. All right, there we go. So now I've created my base piece. Now what I need to do is I need to create a stop in here. Because right now, if I pull this open, Well, if I could get it to work. Well, trust me, it works. I can't get it to work without putting the loop in place. So here's my loop. We're gonna make it a loop. We can fold over the piece, fold over this piece, and we're gonna go ahead and get that all adhered into place. You can do the loop however you want. You don't really see the loop at all. So you just wanna make sure it is secure. There's my loop. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put some adhesive. And I only want adhesive on this inside edge. They list it as the last step. I would actually say it probably should be one of the first steps that you do is put that loop on in the very spot in there. So I'm gonna just apply some adhesive in here as best I can to get that loop secured into place. And that loop kind of acts like a stop. And that loop actually is the only really way that this is secured into place on our card. It actually is going to be the anchor point. After we have our loop secured into place, it's tucked in there, I'm going to go ahead and slip this through. So there's everything all put together. That's the back side. Here's the front side, and you can see those pieces. Now it's time to go ahead and grab our card. And this is going to adhere in here. And the place that you're going to adhere it in is going to be along this edge. So here's our card in place. Now what you'll want to do is go ahead and see as I pull this out, how those all work. What you may want to do is go ahead and create a little bit of a something to grab here. You could make the tab punch to make a tab. You could put a piece there. So the one thing I do have this, I show this with a standard size card at 8.5, the 4.25 by 5.5. I would say you might need to do that a little bit larger. I'm looking through the directions and I don't really see them talking about a specific size of card base to use with this, but I am thinking that you might actually need a slightly wider, or you're going to need to they'll have something here that they just grab a hold of. So super cute, lots of fun. Hopefully that explains it for you a little bit better. If you need to go back, look at how it all went together. The biggest thing is to remember, it's not an accordion fold. That is probably the biggest thing here that was a trip up for me when I tried to put it together, thinking I knew how it went together and I wasn't quite right. It's not an accordion fold. It is literally like a water falling behind that fold. When you pull that fold, it's just sucking that paper right behind, and in the meantime, flapping all of those peekaboo pockets. All right, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have fun putting your project together.